What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and today we're going to be talking about my findings on the space chicken.
Austin, no one cares about the space chicken.
So for those of you who don't know what the space chicken is, do you even know me at all? Ever since the first trailer came out, there has been one image that I have been slightly partially obsessed with. Right here is the space chicken. The space chicken, often called to as the mountain inscription, the mountain ancient giant. Some people believe that this here mountain giant is nothing more than just an inscription here. However, I have some concrete, not made up proof that the space chicken is real. More importantly, it's a threat. Now, Austin, what kind of crazy concrete proof do you have? Well, if you look at my very organized desktop over here, I have a lot of things that make sense. And no, it's not like when you go into a psychopath killer's room and there's just stuff all over the walls. That's not how my desktop is. I could hit Windows D and it's clean. Moving forward, first thing we need to talk about is the spiral boy. In the top left corner, we have a big old spiral over here with some electricity coming out of this. It has now come to my conclusion that this spiral is definitively representing the cloud that appears above Dynomaxed Pokemon. Dynomax Pokemon being the Pokemon who are now super giant in size. If we look up here at the very top, we can see this large spiral structure. Also, we see these very strange red clouds that I don't have a good name for them. A fiery croissant, caterpie, curry poop. Because I've had a lot of curry, I don't need to explain anymore. And then also something super obvious, right around the Dynomax Pokemon, there's a huge amount of electricity. It's being all zapped all left and right, crazy places. Guess what? On the space chicken, we got those big electric zappy marks. It's my belief that these big old zappy marks are the electricity coming off of Dynomax Pokemon. And the large circle above them, which we still don't know what that is, a wormhole warping thing, channel energy from the earth and then give it to the Pokemon, we still don't know. I have a very strong inclination that that spiral and that spiral are one and the same. Now, something that's super obvious here, that's been around for a while, and that's currently happening in the field. I believe that there have been people who have known about Dynamaxing for an extremely long time. We're talking ancient times. I'm talking about Az's Great War. Oh, you didn't think I remembered that, did you? That's right, Az from Pokemon X and Y, who's over 9 feet tall suspiciously, and over 3,000 years old because he's waited for 3,000 years to see his Pokemon again. He was someone who knew about the ultimate weapon, but Az was the former king of Kalos, and Kalos was in this great war 3,000 years ago. And it's been theorized by other people that the Kalosians went to war against the Cantonians. Has that truly been verified by Pokemon and or Nintendo? I don't believe it has. The Great Kalos War of 3,000 years ago may have been between Kalos and Kanto, or it was against the Galar region in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And maybe, even if you have evidence that it says it was against Kanto, the Galar region may have aided one of the two sides. In addition to the Kalos giant super weapon, there was also the Galarians who had power for Betamaxing. I keep calling it Betamaxing. I know Betamax was what lost to VHS. Dynamaxing. And these inscriptions were people who harnessed that energy, who knew about this energy, and a way to make Pokemon get super duper big. Alright, Austin, even if all of that is true, even if the society of 3,000 years ago who were involved in the Kalosian-Cantonian Wars, and they aided people from the Galar region, even if those are the people who made this, what is the chicken itself? We don't have a Pokemon who looks like this. The closest thing I'd say would be Blaziken, and that's still kind of a stretch. Now, who is this Pokemon? That goes into something that was a very subtle detail. A super duper subtle detail. Pull up the trailer. Oh, also, in the Galar region, they have these additional swirlies inside of their Pokeball for Pokemon League official gym stadium things. So yeah, that's tied into, but whatever. But at the very end of the trailer, we learned about the legendary Sword and Shield Pokemon, which I don't know if you notice, they look super duper similar. They really do. Look at these two boys. Look at Sword Wolf over here, and look at Shield Wolf over here. Previously, whenever we've gotten two Pokemons represented on cover art, they've looked a bit contrasting in color and appearance. Red and blue. Red and blue. Red and blue. Black and white, but also guess what? Red and blue. Ho-Oh and Lugia, red and blue. Even though that's not their main color, that color is still very present, except Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl remix confirmed. Not to mention, red and blue. These boys, there's just something off about them. Their color, it's too similar, because they're both red and blue. And during the trailer, they have a conflict with each other. They create one single bash. The sword attacks the shield blocks it, but more importantly, when they're done, they land, they look at each other, they realize that they're not supposed to be at war. Look at that transition. That's a, hey, hey. And then they come together, they look at each other, there's a strange breeze, they're on the defensive. They feel something in the air, and they power up to look away because they know that something is coming for them. What is that something? That something is obviously the Space Chicken. Now, the Space Chicken, we don't know its name. We don't know exactly what it looks like, except that it does look like a chicken. However, one theory going around, and by going around, I mean going around in my head, the leak that came out about the person who knew all the stuff. Now, granted, this could be a very strategized leak, that there's some things that are factual, some things that are not. Eternatus is the evil legendary. The other will be a wolf who will either have a shield mane or hold a sword like the great wolf Sif. Don't recall its name, but Eternatus. Could Eternatus be the Space Chicken? Could it be a Pokemon capable of living that 3,000 years? Our wolf boys are resurrected in various forms so that they can defend the Galar region against the Space Chicken, Eternatus? That's what I think. That's what I think is going on here. And you know what? I'm gonna find out. I feel as though Space Chicken over here is the bad guy, and the people from 3,000 years ago were trying to warn us about it. Because from the Great War, you had this giant Dynomax Pokemon, and they didn't know how to reverse the process. That's the reason in the current games, if you Dynamax a Pokemon, after 3 turns, it goes back to normal. But this Pokemon was so evil that it broke free of its restriction and kept that power. And now, our wolves are here to protect us from it. That is the Space Chicken. That's my theory, but hey, that's just a theory. A theory about games, and particularly Pokemon Sword and Shield. I know what's going on here with Space Chicken is wrong, and I know that our wolf boys are just trying to protect us, which is why you need to buy the box set that has both the sword and the shield on it. That's Nintendo strategy all along. I'm done. I'm out. New merch now available down below. I'm out.